From Jim Carrey turning the Oscars into a mockery of his fellow nominees.
Anyway, who cares? I have been beaten by Roberto Benigni. He has jumped into my ocean.
To Joe Coy's disastrous Golden Globes monologue that had the audience cringing.
And Barbie is on a plastic doll with big boobies. I watched Barbie, I loved it.
Here are 10 times comedians completely wrecked award shows. Let's start with Jim Carrey at the Teen Choice Awards, where he doesn't just walk to the stage, he creates instant chaos.
I ain't even gotta open this. Jim Carrey.
This is vintage Carrey. Unpredictable, unhinged. The audience never saw it coming.
I'd like to thank Jamie Foxx and stuff, and for introducing me. And
after barely acknowledging Jamie Foxx, he switches targets.
I'd like to give a big shout out to Britney Spears, who's here. Okay, but like, you know, leave me alone, Britney. Because like, I'm too old for you, man. I'm 17.
And then his bizarre teen persona takes over. It's uncomfortable. It's hilarious. It's pure Carrey.
And I've always felt a really special connection with teenagers and everything. And I'm kind of like, you know, kind of like a teenager, you know, in certain ways. Like when I got my braces and stuff, you know, I was really embarrassed. And then like all my friends, you know, got braces too, and then it was like cool.
He dives deeper into teenage awkwardness. The audience can't look away. Neither can we.
And then, you know, like when whenever there's something like, you know, really, really important happening, I get really nervous and like I totally break out and stuff. You know, you should see my back. I shouldn't have touched it, you know?
Just when you think he's done, Carrey takes it even further. Physical comedy at its most extreme.
And, oh, ouch. Oh, that one hurts. Oh, that's ready to go. No, I'm sensing some seismic activity on this one, man. I better get out of here before I go totally Mount St. Helens, man. Okay? Thank you very much. Thank you.
This is why Jim Carrey remains untouchable. Even when he grew up, he caused complete comedic chaos at the Oscars. It started innocently enough.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here tonight to present the Academy Award for Outstanding Achievement in Film Editing. That's all I'm here to do.
Then, without warning, he delivers a joke so perfectly timed, it breaks the entire room. Even he can't keep it together.
I have nothing else to worry about. I could just show up and enjoy the parties.
And he needed a long while to recover.
I'm sorry. I didn't expect that to happen.
And some tears, too, apparently. But the next joke takes his performance to another level, mocking the very ceremony he's presenting at.
Winning the Oscar is not the most important thing in the world. It's an honor just to be Oh, God.
At this point, I'm not sure if the tears are fake. The audience squirms in their seats. Is he having a breakdown? Is this planned? That's the beauty of Carrey's comedy. You truly never know.
About a month ago, I would have thought that voting for myself was going to make the difference, you know, but You really got to get out there and talk to people. Anyway, who cares? I have been beaten by Roberto Benigni. He has jumped into my ocean.
Oh, how do you comfort a man when his self-deprecating jokes make the entire room chuckle? But if you thought Carrey's Oscar antics were wild, wait until you see what happened at the 1999 MTV Movie Awards. This time, he wasn't just presenting, he was winning.
Jim Carrey in The Truman Show.
You can tell the man is dressed for chaos. From the moment he hits the stage, Carrey doesn't just accept an award, he transforms the entire ceremony into his playground. First comes the singing.
Let it blow, let it blow. You know, after this year's so-called Oscar race.
Starts off with the song and then mocks the Oscars? What's next? Then comes the revolution. Carrey switches from comedy to something deeper, a moment of surprising authenticity amid the chaos.
I realized that dancing for the man just ain't where it's at. And I decided right then and there that no matter what they tried to take away from me, I was gonna be who I really am.
The audience sits stunned. Is this the same man who just seconds ago was singing and dancing? And a decade or so later, when Jim Carrey stepped up to present at the 2016 Golden Globes, everyone expected another standard celebrity introduction. They got something else entirely.
Thank you. I am two-time Golden Globe winner Jim Carrey. You know, when I go to sleep at night, I'm not just a guy going to sleep. I'm two-time Golden Globe winner Jim Carrey going to get some well-needed shut-eye.
That entrance alone is a statement, but he's just warming up.
And when I dream, I don't just dream any old dream. No, sir. I dream about being three-time Golden Globe winning actor Jim Carrey. Because then I would be enough.
The audience laughs, but there's truth beneath the comedy. Carrey holds a mirror up to Hollywood's obsession with validation. How many trophies does it take to feel complete?
It would finally be true. And I could stop this terrible search for what I know ultimately won't fulfill me.
Every celebrity in that room squirms a little. Not because it's uncomfortable, because it's accurate.
I don't want you to think that just because if you blew up our solar system alone, you wouldn't be able to find us or any of human history with the naked eye.
And then comes the existential hammer drop. In cosmic terms, our awards mean nothing. Our entire civilization is barely visible. Yet we treat these ceremonies like they're the center of the universe.
This is huge.
Jim Carrey is the master of controlled chaos, but when Gilbert Gottfried was called to present an award, he didn't just do that. He turned it into his own mini stand-up set about self-pleasure.
Can't believe it, they're gonna take up my time. Hi, I'm Gilbert Gottfried, Jerry Seinfeld stand-in.
Why do people watch TV? Who are these people?
Gottfried refuses to play by the rules. First, he mocks Jerry Seinfeld, then pivots to a very inappropriate topic.
You know, I'll tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. I sleep a lot better since Pee Wee Herman's been arrested. It's a crime. I should be on death row.
For those who don't know, the Pee Wee Herman joke refers to Paul Rubin's 1991 arrest for indecent exposure in an adult theater.
To think that by age 14 I was already Al Capone. Right now I'm like Superman. You could put charcoal in my hands and I could crush it into a diamond. It's like if the police tried to arrest me, it would be, quick, stay away from his right hand.
The audience doesn't know whether to be amused or horrified, as Gottfried keeps escalating with increasingly graphic metaphors.
Please, only clap if you like. But you know, now on to a category that can be described in a way that women have never described me. Long and hard. The nominations for outstanding writing in a variety or music program are...
This was just one bad joke after another, and after the Golden Globes was embroiled in controversy over having 0 black members, they needed someone to help rehabilitate their image. Enter Jerrod Carmichael, who had absolutely no intention of playing along. From his very first moment on stage, Carmichael addressed exactly why he was there.
I'm here because I'm black. I'll catch everyone in the room up if you settle down a little bit. I'll tell you what's been going on.
With just 4 words, Carmichael immediately made the room uncomfortable.
The Golden Globe Awards did not air last year because the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, which I won't say they were a racist organization, but they didn't have a single black member until George Floyd died. So do with that information what you will.
Most hosts pretend hosting a major awards show is their dream come true. Carmichael, he told us exactly how it happened.
I was like, whoa. You know? Like, 1 minute you're making mint tea at home. The next, you're invited to be the black face of an embattled white organization. Life really comes at you fast, you know?
Has any awards show host ever been this transparent about the tokenism behind their selection? Even when the producer tried to convince him it was about his talent, Carmichael wasn't buying it.
He said, you're being asked to host this show because you were one of the greatest comedians of a generation. But Steven's black, so what does he know? Like, he's only producing this show because he's black. They're not gonna tell him why he's here either.
The awkward laughter proves he struck a nerve. What finally convinced him to take the job? Let's just say it wasn't artistic integrity.
And I said, well, Avery, it's not about the money, honestly. It's about the moral question of whether I should allow. And she said, Jerrod, enough of all that. How much are they paying you? And I said, $500,000. And she said, boy, if you don't put on a good suit and take them white people money.
$500,000 can make principals feel a lot more flexible. However, the worst of the monologue is still yet to come. When the HFPA president wanted a meeting to explain their progress, Carmichael wasn't interested.
They're insisting that you take the meeting. And I'm like, or what? They're gonna fire me? They haven't had a black host in 79 years. They're gonna fire the first one? I'm unfireable. And it came back again, a 3rd time.
He knew exactly what leverage he had and wasn't afraid to use it. Just to make sure everyone understood his position, he delivered one final reality check.
And I'll be totally honest with everyone here tonight. I don't really need to hear that. I took this job assuming they hadn't changed at all. At all. I heard they got 6 new black members. Congrats to them, whatever. Sure, but it's not why I'm here.
The dismissive whatever is a perfect reaction to Hollywood's surface-level diversity efforts. When comedians attack Hollywood celebrities, it's one thing. But when a comedian roasts the President of the United States to his face, that's a whole different level of audacity.
Whoever parked 14 black bulletproof SUVs out front, could you please move them? They're blocking in 14 other black bulletproof SUVs. They need to get out.
In 2006, Stephen Colbert was invited to the White House Correspondents' Dinner, where the audience expected the usual gentle ribbing. Instead, Colbert delivered perhaps the most uncomfortable 20 minutes in political comedy history. He's really laying the sarcasm thick.
Somebody shoot me in the face. Is he really not here tonight? Damn it. The one guy who could have helped.
Next, he tackles government surveillance when nobody else would dare.
By the way, before I get started, if anybody needs anything else at their tables, just speak slowly and clearly into your table numbers. Someone from the NSA will be right over with a cocktail.
The scattered, nervous laughter says it all. Half the room is genuinely amused, while government officials frantically check that their phones are recording. Absolute madness. Colbert perfectly skewers Bush's famous go with your gut approach to, well, everything.
Guys like us, we're not some brainiacs on the nerd patrol. We're not members of the Factinista. We go straight from the gut, right, sir? That's where the truth lies, right down here in the gut. Do you know you have more nerve endings in your gut than you have in your head?
If I hear the word gut one more time, I'll shoot myself in the face too. Then comes the line that would launch 1,000 t-shirts. Reality's liberal bias.
And by these standards, we have set up a fabulous government in Iraq. I believe in pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps. I believe it is possible. I saw this guy do it once in Cirque du Soleil. It was magical.
One sentence that perfectly captured America's entire political divide. No wonder this clip still circulates every election season. Then he compares Bush's presidency to the movie Rocky.
I mean, it's like the movie Rocky, all right? The president in this case is Rocky Balboa, and Apollo Creed is everything else in the world. It's the 10th round, he's bloodied. His corner man, Mick, who in this case I guess would be the vice president, he's yelling, "Cut me, Dick, cut me."
And just when the audience thinks he's being inspirational, bam, he drops the punchline.
And every time he falls, everyone says, "Stay down, Rock, stay down." But does he stay down? No. Like Rocky, he gets back up, and in the end, he actually loses in the first movie. Okay, doesn't matter.
This was a public execution of political niceties. No wonder this gives Washington PTSD almost 2 decades later. But there is someone who is the king of chaos, Ricky Gervais. When he takes the mic at an award show, nobody is safe. And at the 2009 Golden Globes, he proved just that.
You probably know me as the creator of The Office. No, you don't, do you?
You think Steve Carell did it all? Oh, he's brilliant, isn't he, Steve Carell?
Apparently, writing, directing, and starring in the original UK version means nothing when Hollywood finds a guy with a wider smile and better hair. But what really stings? The way Hollywood worships Steve Carell like a comedic genius.
He's amazing as the bumbling office manager. Where does he get his ideas from? Let's paint.
Where does he get his ideas from? Oh, I don't know. Maybe the original show that was already written for him? And when he came back to host in 2016, Ricky decided he had more chaos to unveil.
For any of you who don't know, the Golden Globes are just like the Oscars, but without all that esteem. The Golden Globes are to the Oscars what Kim Kardashian is to Kate Middleton, basically.
First, he mocked the Oscars, and then the list of rules he had no plan on following.
They actually gave me a list of rules. I'm going to ignore them, but I thought it'd be good to read them out, okay? This is real, okay? No profanity. That's fine. I've got a huge vocabulary. No nudity. See, that's a shame, because I've got a huge... vocabulary. But a tiny... No, it's true. Doesn't matter. I don't care. It works. Don't worry about it.
This went on longer than you'd think.
No smut or innuendo. And I'm not to libel anyone. And I mustn't mention Mel Gibson this year. Not his private life, his politics, his recent films, and especially not Jodie Foster's Beaver. I haven't seen it myself.
As if this wasn't enough, he chose his next target, Johnny Depp.
There you go. Just before, I want to ask you a question. It's real. You can have some.
Just checking.
Yeah.
Off to a rowdy start, aren't we? And just so you know, Ricky humiliated his film at last year's Golden Globes.
It was a big year for 3D movies. Toy Story, Despicable Me, Tron. Seems like everything this year was three-dimensional. Except the characters in The Tourist.
Ricky was just confused about how it landed a Golden Globe nomination, but here's the twist. Ricky hadn't even seen the movie.
I feel bad about that joke. No, I'll tell you why. I'm jumping on the bandwagon, because I haven't even seen The Tourist. Who has? But no, it must be good, because it's nominated, so shut up, okay?
A year later, he was standing next to the star of the movie, about to grill him even more.
And be honest, are you on recreational drugs? I'm joking. No, that's not the question. And we all know the answer.
Now, if you thought that was a controversial question, watch what he does next.
Have you... Ready?
I guess so.
Have you seen The Tourist yet?
Have you? No.
That's a note as good as any to end your monologue on. Similarly, Joe Coy might just be the poster child for unintentional chaos, and that became evident at the 81st Golden Globes.
What? That's hilarious!
Remember when hosts were supposed to make people laugh? Joe Coy clearly didn't get that memo. Let's start with this take on Oppenheimer. Nothing says I understand cinema like reducing a 3-hour meditation on moral responsibility to a joke about its runtime.
Oppenheimer answered a lifelong question that's been on my mind for years. Yes, scientists do get laid. As long as they look like Cillian Murphy.
The audience's polite chuckles say it all. But wait, he's just warming up because next comes the Barbie takedown.
And Barbie is on a plastic doll with big... I watched Barbie, I loved it, I really did love it. I don't want you guys to think that I'm a creep, but it was kind of weird being attracted to a plastic doll. It's just something about your eyes, Ryan.
Notice how Greta Gerwig's face transforms from professional smile to counting seconds until this ends. The room temperature drops about 10 degrees. But Joe isn't satisfied with alienating just one director. Why not go after the star too?
And Margot, it's not always about you. The key moment in Barbie is when she goes from perfect beauty to bad breath, cellulite, and flat feet. Or what casting directors call character actor. Some I wrote, some other people wrote.
You can actually pinpoint the second when Hollywood collectively decides this man will never host again. The audience isn't just uncomfortable, they're calculating their quickest exit routes. You can see the backlash coming from miles away.
Robert De Niro's here. Yo, I got the gig 10 days ago. You want a perfect monologue? Yo, shut up. You're kidding me, right? Slow down. I wrote some of these, and they're the ones you're laughing at. Look.
When your jokes bomb so badly you have to blame your writers on live TV, you've entered uncharted territory. The I only got this job 10 days ago defense is comedy's equivalent of my dog ate my homework.
I don't know how you do it, man. I swear to God. Your last performance is got to be your greatest performance ever. How'd you get her pregnant at 80? CGI. CGI? Is he looking? Is he looking? Is he looking? You talking to me?
There's edgy comedy, and then there's making fertility jokes about an 80-year-old legend sitting 20 feet away from you. Bold strategy, Joe.
The one thing I learned about that movie is that white people stole everything. You guys stole everything. Not like 97%. You guys stole 100% of everything. You took the land, you took the oil, you took the premise of the movie. What, that was your premise? That's hilarious, I don't care. It's just that the room is really white. The room's like, yeah, we did take it, and?
Nothing livens up a room of Hollywood elites like jokes about historical genocide. The awkward silence is practically its own punchline. And just when you think it can't get any worse...
I watched Saltburn. You know what I loved about Saltburn? I learned that satanic families have feelings too. Is Barry Keoghan here? Is Barry Keoghan? Where's Barry Keoghan seated? Where are you? Where? Oh, right there. Where's your seated? Down front?
I'm sorry, are award shows famous for their sophisticated humor about satanic families and exposed body parts?
If you haven't seen Saltburn, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. So watch it. Then you'll understand what I was talking about. And then right after that, watch Barbie. And then you're gonna be like, something's missing. And then watch Maestro, and you'll be like, oh, there it is. It's on Bradley Cooper's face. What? That's hilarious. It's
The trifecta of anatomical references continues. From Barbie to Maestro to Saltburn. It's like a twisted game of connect the body parts. The audience isn't laughing. They're plotting their revenge.
Turns out Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will still get paid millions of dollars for doing absolutely nothing. And that's just by Netflix. I have a deal too. Chill. You guys are acting like only murderers are in the building.
Nothing says I'm bombing like punching down at celebrities who aren't even in the room. This wasn't just a bad monologue, it was a masterclass in how to ensure you are never invited back. If you like this video of comedians wreaking havoc at award shows, you'll love this next video, so click here to watch.